How did I become Shiva bhakt one day, suddenly, out of nowhere? Literally, this happened. Like, I have literally seen a major transformation in my life. I swear onto that. And I'm gonna share my experience over here. So, I was literally a kind of girl. Like, my mom used to just run after me, to take the prasad, to take charnamat. We have a temple at our home. Matlab, like every other regular, household. You will find a small to a big temple, in every home, right? In every Hindu household, you will just find it. So we also have a mandir at our home, and uh, my mom my mom really does things and everything. She takes care. We have laddu gopal at our home, so she takes care and everything, and I've grown up watching that. Literally, I have yeah. So yeah, I knew all the gods out there in the mandir. So I used to ask mom, who is what's the story of everyone. So literally, I have grown up like that, you know. And then how our education, it's quite logical, you know. And yeah, in the rush of the education and everything, I somewhere lost my trust in the god. I thought the god doesn't exist. Somewhere I started to think like that. I became very logical. I you know I more or less became like, there is so much sorrow in the world. If God would have been there, why would there be sorrow, and why would there be all these things? I became somewhat like that. There are a whole lot of things happening, and then even when I used to see religious leaders, and wow, wow, this is eagle flew just right away. It's beautiful. So I used to see religious leaders as well, and everything, and I just could never, like nothing nothing string a chord with me. I don't know. It's just nothing. Just I never got something that I always needed. You know, I really found many of them unintelligent. With all due respect, I really found all of them unintelligent. But but now, after I've gone through spiritual awakening, everything, I certainly realize that everybody is at their own level of consciousness, and everybody is evolving in their own ways. So yeah, I mean, now I do have a different perspective, but it's okay to have to be at a certain level of consciousness. Okay, there is no problem with that. But where the problem occurs, when I really find something unintelligent, is when you start to speak with some authority, that like what and I think that is unintelligent. That is completely, it's better to say that you don't know, you know but हमें सोसाइटी ये सब सिखाती नहीं है. सोसाइटी हमें बोलती है कि शो योर कॉन्फिडेंट फेस. अगर तुम्हें नहीं आता है तो भी ऐसे शो करो तुम्हें आता है, तुम्हें पता है. शो योर अथॉरिटी, जस्ट फेक इट आउट. मैट्रिक्स ने हमें प्रोग्राम ही ऐसा किया है, डोंट शो योर वनरेबल साइड एवर. लाइक, what's the big deal? Can't we be unintelligent? Like, what's the deal? Why do we have to show a very proper face of us in front of the world? I don't understand that. So that is what I find really unintelligent, that people who don't know, and still they're speaking with some kind of authority, is what I find unintelligent. On a serious note, it's okay to be at a certain level of consciousness. What's the problem? Everybody is a certain level of consciousness, and it doesn't matter where you are right now. You don't know. Somebody may just grow like rapidly out of nowhere. If something clicks to somebody, their evolution process is going to take take up fast pace. So you never So, you cannot really deny any possibility, right? You have seen that people, have gone to a certain level of consciousness, then they have fall back. For example, Ravan. He was such a wise guy and everything, and he knew everything, and then he, we all know what happened. How he ended. So it doesn't matter where you are right now. You can quickly take up the evolution process. You can quickly go down into the hole, into the pit of, the rabbit hole. Ah, eagle is coming. Most of the time she's just gliding over. Have you ever seen fluttering her wings? Most of the time she's just gliding over, like so smoothly. I don't know how she does it. She looks so effortless. And I think she is a symbol of, he. I feel eagles are more masculine energy. They are, detachment. I feel that they symbolize detachment in some ways. Eagles are a symbol of detachment. They're very detached. They're very calm. They're very still. If you see them in the air, like they float in the sky. Literally, they float. Like there's some water and they're floating in the sky. If you literally watch them, and they're very detached, they take up the high view, and I think they're very masculine energies, eagles. So yeah, let's come back. So yeah, I never found, I never string a chord with any religious guru, you know and there would be some frauds as well out there, who will do a little bit of magic out there, and who will tell the public that we'll solve your problems, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I used to think, like, if really somebody is at a certain level of consciousness, why would he sit at a throne and solve the problems of people? I thought Superman was more, or Batman, if would have been there, they were more intelligent. At least they were going and stopping crimes from happening. There's so many crimes happening in the world, there's so many wrongdoings happening. They would take the risk of the death and everything, they would go and do. But certain people who had a certain level of consciousness, they would just perform some stupid magic tricks. They would sit at a throne and they would say, we'll solve your problems, go around neem tree and make 4 circles and just come back. I don't know, like, it just didn't string a chord with me. And one good thing about British education is that, yes, it is a no to a superstition. Like, they are very, rigorous and against superstition and everything. So yeah, it's good about them. But yeah, when I really stepped into the spiritual realm, like, of course I'd never got into all these, frauds and everything, as a kid. And while I was trying to search for truth in my life, even while I was growing up, I never got into these frauds. So one good thing about British education was that. But yeah, when I really had to step into the spiritual realm, when I was really feeling a call for the spiritual realm, for the invisible world, when I was really stepping into that, then uh, then what happened was that, British education was like way logical. So I had a trouble, I had trouble, a little bit to understand and get into the illogical world, get into the invisible world, connect to the spiritual realm. So I had a little bit trouble over there because I really was sitting with a lot of self-doubt, and I was thinking, am I going crazy? Am I going crazy? Am I really going crazy? I really have to sit with myself, in that sense. So yeah, one thing is that, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, while I was growing up, and never I could never just find somebody who was really explaining stuff, who was really talking sense, was really making sense. And then of course, you know yeah, and I was sad while growing up. I mean, not that sad. I mean, I was sad. Let me just be honest. I was sad while growing up. I had a lot of trouble with the world. I was way too emotional, way too sensitive, and I never knew what to do with my potential. You know, I was really, seen as a weaker. Um, I was really seen as weak. Somebody who's very emotional in today's world, somebody who's very sensitive in today's world is seen as weak. but I really had to. But I somehow knew it within me that I am I am very powerful. I somehow just knew it within me. And but yeah, I had nothing out in the world, to I had nothing, I had no hope out in the world, to address it back to me. Like, everything outside is a confirmation, at the end of the day, what are you feeling inside? So yeah, uh, s- yeah, actually. Then I found my, gurus, enlightened gurus. Finally, I started reading books of people which made sense to me. I liked Krishnamurti. I started reading Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore. I really like Aurobindo. I've read him too. Not much, but yeah. Then yeah, I started reading. I started reading Paulo Coelho. Oh wow, his books are so magical. Love his books, and such a beautiful perspective he has of life. I think my first book was actually Paulo Coelho. Yeah, and I think it was what 21 minutes. I don't know what was the name of the book. Something like this. I don't know. I'm forgetting the name of the book. So yeah, I started reading his books, and then I found enlightened masters, and I found Deep Trivedi ji. He really helped me out, and of course Sadhguru. Oh God, I yeah. First, I actually saw Sadhguru, and then Deep Trivedi ji, and then of course Maharishika. She also makes a lot of sense to me, and yeah, Shri M even, I mean, I don't know. I just went everywhere and just sat and just took everything that I could take from them. Literally. It's not about the teacher, it's more about are you the learner? Literally. That's how it is. So yeah, and my external, and when you start with the spiritual journey, external life goes hell. Literally external life, I don't know, I started to lose everything out there, but I started to find something deep within me. And I swear, when Sadhguru used to say na that it's not external, it's internal, it's internal, and I could just not that much relate to it. But now when I've covered a long spiritual journey, I can just understand what he says. I can feel it, because on my spiritual journey I've lost and lost and lost, and I don't know. I literally lost things, and people around me, I mean, yeah, they do not have, they think my life is going down because of what is happening in my external life, but inside I don't know. I, I know what life is. I know what it is now. I don't see things the way people see things now. And I know more. People think that this bad has happened, so they need to cry, they need to be upset, they need to be worried, they need to be stressed. But I don't see it this way now. Okay, I really, had to integrate all these wisdoms of enlightened masters, and see it through the lens of these enlightened masters. My perception has really improved. you know Things are not as they seem. That is why this world is called maya, illusion, distraction. You don't see it the way it is. That's why they, in spirituality we say third eye. Third eye represents truth. When third when you start to see the truth in things, that's what is third eye. That's exactly what is third eye. So I started seeing why things are happening, how it is happening. And once I used to have my lessons, my external reality would change so suddenly, everything. Out of nowhere, it would just change so suddenly, yaar. And I started to get what God was trying to talk to me. I started to understand what universe was trying to communicate to me, like what this life is about, what this life is. It just opened my eyes. I could just see more deeply. It's not what you see, it's not what you think it is. you know and yeah, so yeah, my external reality is not good as according to the people around me, But for me, internally, I feel something else. I know why things happen, how happen. Like, I understand how world works, how universe works, and it's a different level of contentment inside of you. It's a different level of satisfaction inside of you. It's completely different, you know. And literally, usually people become Shiv bhakts and Krishna bhakts and whatever when their life goes down, literally. But for me, yes, externally things were not good, but I don't know. It's just, but I feel more happier and I feel more content, and I felt, a pull towards, I don't know, I am doing puja and all. I started doing puja and all. Like, my mom used to run after me, to take the prasad, to take charnamat and everything. And I was like, nahi, der ho rahi hai, I'm going. Because I was on a spiritual journey and I was on a spiritual journey and never trusted that God existed. Honestly. I never thought a God existed. Something made, I don't know, like, yeah, I really thought God didn't existed. Seriously. Because there was so much sorrow in the world. Why would God exist? Why there's so much sorrow in the world? But then as I understood the wisdoms of the world, the universal wisdoms. Slowly and gradually, I started to understand. How it's everyone's karma. How they are living their own suffering, how they're making their own suffering in their own head and living it. I started to understand. I started getting liberated from things internally somehow. I started to really yeah, it just started to happen. I started feeling such a liberation within my own self. Like, internal reality is a thing, man. I swear out of that, it's a thing. you know so yeah, usually people take up Shiv bhakti and everything, but just because their life goes down. But for me, when my life, when I was really sad, everything was good outside. Like, as a child, while growing up, I come from a regular middle class family. My parents are good, everything is good. Like any other regular child, I had my childhood and everything. But somewhere, I just felt that emptiness. I felt boring. I felt frustrated. Like, something is missing. My creativity is missing. My life, I'm not breathing inside. Like, okay. And when I took up spirituality, I started to breathe again. I started to, yeah, something started to happen within me. I started to take up. I started to take up spirituality. I really wanted to know the truth and everything. So it started to happen. And suddenly, I started to understand life. Suddenly, certain miracles started to happen in my life. Miracles in the way like miracles in the way, like, not, I'm not having any certain kind of lottery or something. Okay, instead instead I recently quit my job as well. Okay, so no lotteries, no nothing. I quit my job last year as well. So yeah, and even it was not completely my decision. Like, it's somehow the, like, universe conspired that this has to happen. you know सो या मेरी कोई लॉटरी नहीं लगी, समथिंग कि मैं शिव भक्त बन गई, या मैं कोई सैड भी नहीं थी कि मैं शिव भक्त बन गई. दैट इज़ व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. एंड इट इज़ नॉट अ काइंड ऑफ डिस्ट्रैक्शन फॉर मी कि मैं शिव भक्त बन गई एक दिन. आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग पूजा एंड आरतीज एंड एवरीथिंग. आई स्टार्टेड एंजॉइंग इट एज वेल. लाइक, आई वाज नेवर दैट गर्ल, यार. आई वाज नेवर दैट गर्ल. I was literally never that girl. And it just started to happen to me suddenly out of nowhere, and I don't know why I started listening to bhajans and everything, and I felt like, am I adulting? I don't know, like, what's happening, like, why I've started to just change, because I started to experience life. I literally started to I started to understand universe. I don't know, it just felt a pull towards Shiva. And I do aarti and I do puja and I understand Shiva. मुझे Shiva समझ आते हैं, and I understand. And I understand how difficult it is to be a god. I literally understand how difficult it is to be a god. To be a god is not easy. It's not easy to be a god. Trust me. We human being thinks our life is difficult. No. It's damn difficult to be a god. And he's sitting up there, and I was used to think that, what is he doing? He's not doing anything, everyone is crying, and it's really not that. But now I understand. People are crying because of their own karma, and he is there, and he still feels so bad for all these people. And he's still doing his karma. He's still trying to, do his best. But people aren't listening. Somewhere it's their own karma. I started to understand. And uh, and yeah, I really started to, when I understood life, when I, through my experiences, spiritual journey is a very much an experiential journey. So my experiences also happened this way. Everything happened, and suddenly I just became a Shiva Bhakt one day. Just a eagle got lost into the eagles flying. It just glides through. It's so beautiful, yeah. She seems like she's floating into the sky. I don't know. I don't know. I find eagles very beautiful, especially when they fly overhead. Something else. I don't know. So yeah. So yeah, I become Shiva Bhakt one day suddenly out of nowhere. And literally कुछ तो होता है यार शिवा भक्ति में. There is something so special in Shiva Bhakti. I mean, there's something literally very special in Shiva Bhakti. It just, I don't know, you feel it back. Okay, whatever you do in your Shiva Bhakti, whatever puja you do, whatever thing you do, you just feel it back. If you're really doing it from your heart, okay, you're not doing it because you're dukhi, you're not doing it because you're like buttering God, but you really, really, I really feel a sense, I really feel a connection with Shiva, and I understand him now, and I understand that God, and I want to become like him. I literally want to become like him. I literally want to become a goddess. I literally want to be a goddess. I literally want to become a god, because that's what my guru has taught me. That's what spirituality, real spirituality, is. That you don't find a god, you become a god. Don't really self-discover. When you really, you go on a self-discovery. When you really go on a self-discovery, you will shed all the nonsense that you shed. Of the shed the nonsense of the ego. You will find that you literally God in just a human body. That's what you're literally gonna find it. If you're really on a true spiritual journey, that's what you're really gonna find. And it's not easy to be a god. It's not easy to be a god. It's not. It's not easy to be Shiva. It's not easy to be what he is. It's not easy to, how parents are, how difficult it gets for parents when they have so many kids, 2 3 kids, in the family, and they're like, this kid is like that kid is like that. Imagine him with so many kids, yeah. It's not a problem with the management. Like, he can manage all the kids together. That much powerful he is. But the problem is the kids don't listen. That's the problem. Kids are not ready to listen. Kids are not ready to leave the fear. Kids are not ready to leave, their patterns, their cycles, their karmas. Yeah, they're not ready to let go of their own traumas. They're not ready to let go of their own misery. It serves them. Have you seen people sitting on the tables and discussing how bad their life is? Like, what all bad things have happened in their life. They're all sitting on the tables, and they're really trying to, label themselves out of their own misery. You know. So yeah, I became a Shiva Bhakt one day, just suddenly out of nowhere. And I started feeling a pull, and I don't know, and I do puja and everything, and it just happens, and it's so beautiful to experience, like, it's such a privilege, such an honor to, do puja. It's such an honor to do puja, yaar, literally. Yeah, I feel it's such an honor. I feel such a blessing to do his puja. Like, I have this much sense, like, I've come to this much sense in my life on my spiritual journey, that I am doing his puja, and everything that way. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about here, that I didn't become a Shiva Bhakt because I was sad, or something like this, like, because I wanted to get marks in my exams, or ye wo sab, and no, nothing. Spirituality has taught me not to ask anything from God. Like, after a spiritual awakening, I've really done a post as well on my Instagram. You can find that out. So that post says that, what's the biggest illusion that humanity has ever lived in? That illusion is that, what that illusion is? That illusion is that we think we need to ask God, for our small prayers. But what it's actually is like, it's like we are hands of God. We don't have to ask Him. We are literally His hands. We are something powerful, not as powerful as Him, but we are literally powerful, and we are meant to be His hands in the world. We are meant to be His medium, okay? We are meant to be, how Krishna says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita that that tu mera madhyam hai, right? You are the medium, okay, to kill all these people, to kill all your enemies. If you won't do it, I will do it on my own, right? He says that, and it's so true, because what has to happen will happen. मेरे गुरुदीप त्रिवेदी हमेशा बोलते हैं, जो होना है वो होता ही है, और जो होना चाहिए वो होगा ही. Like, the universe works on that truth will always win, and universe works on that. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop that. So what has to happen. Now, whether you will be the medium of it or not, whether you will be the Ravan or whether you will be the Ram, that you have to decide. Whether you will be the Pandavas or whether you will be the Kauravas, that you have to decide. But what will happen has to happen. And the truth is that victory, victory is always of the truth. Light always wins, love always wins, so yeah, that's the truth. So yeah, I became Shiva Bhakt one day, suddenly out of nowhere. When I walked my spiritual journey and understood universe, I started feeling a pull towards Shiva. I am watching Shiv Shakti right now, and I'm starting to understand Shiva and his workings, and as much as I have understood about Shiva is that Shiva represents the creator. Okay, like he is the creator of the universe, I know we say Brahma has actually created the world, but no, um, it's like Shiv Shakti created Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar. Okay, so Shankar is known for destruction. Shiva is the creator. Shankar is known for destruction, and Vishnu is known for maintenance, and Brahmaji is known for creation. And I don't know why is Brahmaji called for creation, yaar. I don't know, but what I have understood, and I don't know how that works, but what have I understood from my spiritual journey, and what I've understood and felt, and known in my own experience, is that Shiva is the creator. Somehow, in my experience, he represents the creator. He is the creator, and I don't know why Brahma is the creator, but Brahma is also created by, I don't know, I just can't, I don't know, I don't know, but in my perception, Shiva is the creator. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this topic. Yeah, thank you for watching the video till here. Drop a like if you watched the video till here. You can drop a like, come on. You can subscribe my channel if you haven't. You can comment down below. You can share it with your friends. Thank you for watching the video.